Imagine this. You're going to lay a power cable across the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea. And we're not talking about just any cable. This is supposed to be the deepest one ever attempted. A project on a massive scale, designed to link up nations and pretty much secure Europe's energy future. But this incredible feat of engineering, it's turned into something else entirely. It's become a geopolitical bomb. Just to give you a sense of the scale here, we are talking about 1,208 kilometers of high-voltage wire, plunged to depths of 3,000 meters. I mean, that is a colossal challenge, really pushing the absolute limits of what's possible. The ambition is just breathtaking. But here's the kicker. Its path cuts right through one of the most contested regions on the entire planet. So the big question is, how did a project that was meant to bring light and power spiral into a mess of international tension, military standoffs, and some seriously high-stakes political drama? Well, that is exactly what we are going to unpack right here. Okay, so the official name for this whole thing is the Great Sea Interconnector. And on the surface, its mission sounds pretty straightforward. The idea is to build this massive underwater power line connecting the electrical grids of Israel, Cyprus, and Greece. And from there, plug them right into the entire European Union. Simple enough, right?
The strategy behind this is actually pretty brilliant, with each partner seeing a major win. For the EU, it is a huge step toward diversifying away from Russian energy, a massive priority. For Cyprus, which is an island nation, it's a chance to finally end its energy isolation and hopefully bring down their sky-high electricity costs. And for Israel, it's a golden ticket to sell power from its huge offshore gas fields directly to Europe. I mean, on paper, it's a win-win-win.
And when we talk about the scale, we're talking about the investment too. It is immense. Back in July of 2023, the French company Nexans, a world leader in this stuff, won the first big contract. The price tag? A staggering 1.43 billion euros. And you better believe the European Union is all in. They've already committed 657 million euros in funding just to get this project off the ground. Now, with this much money on the line, the pressure to make it work is enormous. But that's exactly when the trouble started. And it came from a place no one expected. Yeah, before any foreign ships or international disputes even entered the picture, the first huge obstacle popped up from inside the Cypriot government itself. The whole plan started to crack from within.
The conflict basically tore the government in two. On one side, you've got the Ministry of Energy, who's championing this thing as a total lifeline for the country's almost 1 million citizens. But on the other side, the Ministry of Finance was slamming on the brakes. They were warning about two gigantic risks. First, you're going to provoke your incredibly powerful neighbor, Turkey. And second, the absolute financial nightmare that could happen if Israel's gas fields get tied up in legal disputes with Lebanon or Palestine. That could leave Cyprus on the hook for billions for a project that's dead in the water. So this internal battle, it came to a really dramatic head. In December of 2025, the Cypriot president reshuffled his cabinet, and he dismissed the pro-cable energy minister. A lot of the local media saw this as a direct punishment for being so outspoken about the interconnector. And just like that, the first domino had fallen.
But, the internal politics in Cyprus, that was just the opening act for a much, much bigger conflict playing out on the open sea. This is where those invisible lines drawn on maps become very, very real. Okay, so to really get this, we need to know one key term: the Exclusive Economic Zone, or ZEZ. Under international law, this is basically a stretch of ocean where a country has the sole rights to everything in it and under it. We're talking fish, oil, gas, you name it. It's a fundamental piece of how the world's oceans are governed. And here is the massive problem. The planned route for the Great Sea Interconnector slices right through a ZEE that is fiercely disputed. Both the EU-backed alliance of Greece and Cyprus and the regional power Turkey claim these exact same waters as their own. So the cable is on a direct collision course with decades of simmering geopolitical tension. And Turkey's position on this is crystal clear. It never even signed the UN treaty that defines these zones. Instead, it puts forward its own claims that completely ignore major Greek islands like Crete. It also uses its military presence in northern Cyprus to stretch its maritime reach even further. And these aren't just claims on paper. No way. Between July 2024 and February 2025, the Turkish Navy sent actual warships to actively harass and chase away the survey vessels that were out there mapping the route for the cable. So this brings us right to the heart of it all. Why would a simple power cable provoke such an intense reaction? Well, because this fight was never really just about a cable. It's about what's buried deep beneath it.
That's right. The Eastern Mediterranean is absolutely swimming in vast, untapped reserves of natural gas and oil. The fight over where to lay a power line is actually a proxy war for who gets to control and profit from these incredibly valuable resources for decades to come. This table really breaks it down perfectly. You've got the EU, who just wants energy independence from Russia. You've got Israel, who wants to cash in on its gas and lock in a powerful alliance. You've got Turkey, who wants to flex its muscles as the dominant regional power, who controls all the energy routes. And then you have Greece and Cyprus, caught right in the middle, just trying to secure their own futures while navigating all this insane pressure. So where does all of this leave us today? Well, with the project stuck in limbo and tensions higher than ever, the whole region is locked in what you could call a high-voltage standoff. The next moves aren't going to be made by engineers with cables. They're going to be made by diplomats in back rooms.
Let's just walk through the timeline to see how things escalated. It starts with that massive contract in 2023. Then you get the naval harassment through 2025, followed by the political firing in Cyprus. But now, look at the next dates. In January 2026, a brand new card gets dealt. Cyprus takes over the rotating presidency of the EU, giving it a powerful new platform on the world stage.
And its president is using this new leverage for a huge diplomatic gambit. The proposal is audacious, to say the least. They want to try and solve the decades-long crisis over the division of Cyprus itself, hoping that some kind of grand bargain could finally clear the path for the cable and all the energy riches that lie beneath. It is a true all-or-nothing play.
And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? Is all this high-stakes diplomacy going to lead to a historic compromise that literally redraws the energy map of Europe? Or is this massive project, with billions of euros and the energy security of an entire continent on the line, just destined to be abandoned at the bottom of a very, very troubled sea? The world is watching to see who blinks first.